Shootings, drugs, rapings, you name it.
Crystal meth is going to take over this city and this world.
You got to work on a new education, street education, how to make it on the street.
If I wanted to sleep on this sidewalk right there, they wouldn't let me do it.
You're dealing with kids that are actually selling their body. Perhaps they were abused to begin with.
I've known a few people that have actually gotten raped, yeah.
Won't change until somebody makes the change.
They get looked at like they're pieces of garbage, and they're not.
You put yourself in the dark, what are you looking at? Darkness, you're not going anywhere.
I ain't got peers, man. It's just me.
I've seen things no one will ever see. Not many people see this,
Just been hanging around, doing pretty much everything, which amounts to almost nothing.
I'm gonna be somebody someday.
We're really the only adults in their lives.
So why are you recording me? Are you gonna ask me questions to answer or something?
Well, it's definitely illegal to be homeless if you're under 18.
But is there any right now that are 11, 12 out there that are homeless?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Where are they at right now, you think?
In the bush. It's hidden down in the bush canyon. Little tent set up. You can't see. You'd have to know someone to be able to find your way in there.
There are some homeless camps.
Camps.
If you're a very
we camp
small
down there
kid,
sometimes.
you'll find other kids that will help you find a place like that where there's kind of an infrastructure set up for you to survive, and then you can learn from the adults and some of the older kids. Mm-hmm. But what you're learning there is you're learning how to be homeless.
Yeah, and a lot of kids that come around homeless. A lot of people don't want to help them or deal with them because that brings cops and. You're harboring a runaway or
You have to go back to your foster care or your group home or your home. And if the child left that area because of abuse, pretty much you're legally required to put them right back into that situation. There's no questioning, there's no help. They just go right back to where they came from. So if they ran away from that situation because it was problematic or unsafe, and the system puts them back into that situation, that's only a temporary Band-Aid. Eventually we'll see those kids back out here. Well, and it's all instant gratification, too. I mean, isn't it a lot easier just to put someone somewhere else?
Yeah, just to get them out of the way.
Yeah, just get them out of the way versus trying to help them.
What they really try to do a lot.
It's like pushing the paperwork around your desk. Well, and even if there was money coming from the government, which may or may not be the case depending on what their situation is, most kids don't know how to find that money.
Yeah, by then it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, I needed help now. Now personally, I don't even like asking for help, because it's just, I like to try to do things myself. But sitting over at frickin' Circle K, that's where I ask, that's what I do. I sit at Circle K and I ask people if they could spare some change. Whatever it is I'm getting, that's what I'm going to say it's for. You spare some change for food. Can you spare some change for some pot? Can you spare some change? I'm trying to get a 40.
It's horrible. I mean, it's not fun at all. You can survive off of it, but you have to just drop all your pride.
Nobody knows of how hard it is to get up the guts to walk up to some stranger and be like, hey, can you support me for my breakfast?
We ask people for money. They give us 50 cents at a time. Is that so much a drain on their check? No, but it puts out good karma for them. And I do the same thing. Somebody asks me for change. If I got some change, here you go, man. Just because I know I want that good karma coming back to me later. If you got a couple cents you want to give up, and that's cool. And other than that, dude, if you see somebody out here, just say hi. Just be personable. Don't be a jerk, because we're just trying to make our way through and not get ourselves killed.
We've all lost our jobs before in the past, and I know when I lose my job, nothing is going to prevent me from not getting my next job, and I will probably not ever be homeless because I got people that have my back. I've got a family. There's a lot of people that have no family, none whatsoever.
Drugs, man. Shootings, drugs, rapings, you name it.
There's a million different things here that are going on that are breaking down the self-esteem. So if you did start sober, it's not too hard to go to drugs.
It's rough. It's so rough to turn away from the drugs,
So drugs is actually the biggest thing?
Me, I'm running from them.
And I'm very empathetic to that. I mean, I think the average person would not know how to survive on the streets. I think the average person would resort to drugs if they weren't able to be that exceptional person that could actually kind of rise above their situation.
There are quite a few of them that are clean, and it's, you know, I recognize that, you know, and actually I got to give them props for it because there's really nothing else to do out here.
Drug of choice is ice.
Crystal?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
On top of life.
Feel on top of life?
Yeah.
I can handle it, you know, me do it. This is one time. Well, that one time, you know, then they don't sleep all that night, and then they're up the next day tooling around for another bag, you know, and so they go tooling around for another bag, they find another bag, and then they're up that night, and then the next day they're up tooling around for another bag, and then they find another bag, and then they're up that night, and it turns into 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, until finally they go crazy just from sleep deprivation.
If you have nowhere to sleep because you can't stay anywhere because you can't sleep on the streets legally,
Stay up all night.
why don't you just stay up all night? You can walk around for 3, 4, 5, 6 days at a time, not even having to sleep. So that eliminates that whole extra problem of finding a place to sleep if you don't have to sleep.
Crystal meth is going to take over this city and this world.
You can see it on the streets, man, just walking.
The drug thing is certainly a very large element, and I've seen a lot of kids that come out, you know, at first for the adventure. Perhaps they're just running away looking for something different. Maybe they want to travel, but eventually they find that living on the streets, they're poverty-stricken. They have absolutely no money, and there's only really a couple things that you can do to get money. You can spare change, which is called spanging, so you have to beg for your money, which is not good for your self-esteem. You can do drug running, which is not very profitable, and it's usually the people that are higher up in the drug ring that are making the money. Or you can sell your body, and that's called survival sex.
There's a lot of horrible things that happen that we don't really talk about.
Or is that, or they sell their bodies? You know, like I know people who, I mean, I've had offers just walking down the street, this guy offered me $150 for a half hour.
The Runaway Switchboard will tell you that there are statistics that say that a child will resort to survival sex within 48 hours of actually living on the streets.
I was like, I ain't like that, I'm sorry. You know, that's just a lot of pride I would have to swallow to do that.
There's a lot of old-ass guys, old guys around, perverts looking for little boys, little homeless boys. And it's something that, you know, usually you think of prostitution, you think of girls out there. It's not like that. It's worse.
There's a huge responsibility that we have, I believe, as adults to parent children, even if they're not our children. And I think that most of these kids, because of the way they look and the way they're dressed, they get looked at like they're pieces of garbage, and they're not. They're human beings. And what we have found out as counselors is that we're really the only adults in their lives. And we found out very quickly that they're all little kids inside. I mean, we all are.
The only stability that you do have are your friends that surround you, that let you know that you're still here. Try to keep your brain together, man. You got to keep your brain together, because hearing all the 5-0s and hearing all the adults around you, you know, get a job, you know, you're useless, you're worthless, blah, 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 and, you know, try not to make it feel bad, and it does make you feel bad, but don't let it be seen.
More than anything, I would like people to really be aware that this problem will not go away unless they do something about it. And if they want to complain about it, that's certainly an approach, but it's kind of a passive approach. There's actually actions that they can take that will help, and we've seen it. We've seen the success. It's been only 2 years. We heard that, you know, we would see a lot more negative things happen than positive things, and it all feels pretty positive to me. I'm just happy that they're here hanging out with us.